Hello there guys, Francis Gray here, and today I've got a new model build to show you all. This is the iconic Universal movie monster, the Bride of Frankenstein, from the hit classic film The Bride of Frankenstein. Originally this model was made by a company called Aurora, but was later re-released. I believe it was from a company called Polar Lights. I believe this is the Polar Lights version. Basically it's a styrene kit, comes in a multitude of parts, quite a lot to this kit actually, and then obviously once all assembled shows the bride coming to life or being reanimated on the iconic operating table. It's a tricky kit to build, this one, I will tell you the truth. There was a few bits that I found quite fiddly or a little bit on the difficult side, so I would recommend this to be built by a more professional model kit builder. Obviously have a go if you think you're up to it, but I wouldn't just jump straight in and do this kit. I believe this kit is actually quite hard to get hold of now, especially the classic original Aurora version. If you are lucky, you would be able to pick one up on eBay, but you would have to pay an extra amount for it to be original. If it's a later reissue, it's still pretty expensive in some circles, but if you were determined to get this model, then probably eBay might be the best place to look. So getting to the model itself, obviously features the bride on the operating table, held down with 5 restraints, 1 on the ankle, 1 on each wrist, and then 2 on the mid-torso section. There's obviously you've got like a Tesla coil here. Originally this kit came with these like little plastic lightning bolts that you're supposed to paint up, and then you attach here, and then I believe one down here, and then there might be another one somewhere else. Myself, I left them off this kit because I felt they looked a bit too cartoony, so I didn't think the kit needed them. You know, everybody who knows the Frankenstein movies know that it's electricity that creates them and brings them back to life, so I don't see why you need to state the obvious really. Severed hand down here. I did a little tiny bit of a blood trail, and then other spare body parts down here. Now those do come with the kit. In fact, if I'm truthfully honest, everything you see here does come with the kit. Now the only thing that I added that doesn't come with the kit or doesn't isn't suggested in the instructions to build is literally just this one black pole in the middle of the Tesla coil, and the only reason I added that was it was added spare from the styrene, the excess parts that gets left, and I just basically felt like that huge hollow oval there just seemed a bit bare, so I just thought, is it worth just making like a black rod, so that just makes it a little bit more eye-catching. The main problem with this that I found, or the tricky parts, all of these portions were quite tricky. If you ever built one of these kits before, you probably know well for a fact that yourself that the clear plastic portions are probably the most trickiest and hardest part to go. The main reason why is you need contact cement to glue them, but if you get any of it on the outside or the inside, it stains the see-through plastic, so it's no longer see-through. So I would recommend using bare minimum contact cement. And then also, each one has like a nasty seam going down like the sides. Now, like with this one here, the sculptor masked over that by giving this ball like an outside pattern, so that hid. So once you painted it, that hid that seam. But other ones, like this back one here, That's supposed to be all glass, so you might be able to see there's a seam there. So there is ways to like model around it or make it less visible. You'll never get rid of it 100%, unfortunately. What I tend to do is I paint them from the inside, and then I also paint them on the outside as well. And then once dry, after a couple of coats, I gloss over it all with gloss varnish. And that gives it its like shiny glass look again. So that's probably about the best way that I've found to model them. Otherwise, it stands out like a sore thumb. That it's a two-part see-through plastic. I also found these chains rather fiddly because the way that they are moulded is they're all static 2D. But obviously you need them to be 3D up and looped around, and then they're held in place with these like little U-shaped pieces of plastic. So what I ended up doing was I just took like a modelling heat gun, or you could use a hairdryer, I suppose, or you could dip the end in a little bit of hot water. Be careful with that though, don't want to burn your fingers. And then basically once it's in a loosened, warmed state, then just very carefully and gently bend it to shape, and then hold it in place for a while, and then once you let go, hopefully it'll retain that shape, and then you can hold it and glue it into place and then secure it with these U-pins. But to do that 4 times, especially when you've got to get in there and this back wall's there, was a bit fiddly. The main figure itself didn't come in that many parts. There was basically 2 parts to the torso, 2 parts to each arm, and then the head, the hair was in 2 parts, and then the face was separate. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 parts. I would recommend building up and painting the figure separate. I'd build the head up separate and paint that, build the body up separate, paint that, and then once you're happy with it, then glue the head into the shoulder area. And then once you've got your main figure, then concentrate on the rest of the main operating table. Another thing I'd suggest is make sure when you're assembling, make sure to attach these poles. There's 3 poles, one there, and one in the end here. Now when I first built this, I went to apply the operating table, and then I thought it's a bit wobbly, why is that? And then when I re-looked at the instruction sheet, I realised that I forgot to add these. So luckily the glue was not set, so I could just take the top off, put them back in place, and then reapply a little bit of glue, and then just just fix it from that way onwards. This part here was added. Now it does come with the kit, but you're supposed to add it over her neck, or some people put it on top of her hair. I feel like it distracts from the figure, so basically I just heated it up and then bent it over this metal shade, and then I just thought it adds, instead of all the bandages all being up here, I thought it just made it a little bit more universal. The main problem I had with this that was really tricky was this whole area up here, which was getting this beaker, that stand, because that stands in like 2 or 3 parts. This little Bunsen burner obviously attaches to the wooden shelf, and then there's a little clip on the top of the Bunsen burner that leads to this the beaker, and then obviously you've got that little shelf ring to hold it in place as well, and none of it really wanted to fit together. Also this green portion that doesn't really fit in place very well, and then you've got to line it up with this other purple portion that leads up to the top of this. Now when I got this kit, because this kit was a private commission, the only part that was broken was this see-through loop there. There was a cut around about here, so it was tricky for me to line all those parts up in one go and make it all fit. So you can probably tell that this back bit here leans a little bit too far out, but that's the only way I could basically model this, unless I like clip this and file it down, but there's no way I'd have got that to match in the middle. So I thought it was safer just to have that leaning slightly rather than, you know, mess up the main connecting piece. So yeah, so that's about it really. Hope you like this quick look at. Please don't forget to click the like button and share on Facebook and Twitter, guys, because it helps new people find my channel, which I'm always appreciative. Thank you very much. And don't forget to show some love on the page. And thank you for watching, and see you next time. Thank you. Goodbye.